This golfer's just a little bit too squatted down. What we want to sense is that the knees are just unlocked out over the shoelaces, and you can see that his knees are out past his toes even. That's going to put him in a little better position to have balance. The butt will be up, and we'll have a hip line that's kind of canted down towards the golf ball instead of so level. Let's go ahead and watch the takeaway here. See, there's the lift, and generally when we lift, it's our body telling us we're bent over too much anyway. So what's happening here is he's lifting up the club instead of swinging it back. Gets up real tall, and he's still in a weak position. The triangle that's formed by the forearms that's set up is separated, and he's going to try to drive down to the golf ball, and he pulls his hands way inside. See how they're way inside? He's all crunched down, and then he's not able to rotate because he's down so low now that there's no way to post up on that lead leg and pivot around it. So he ends up with a fairly weak shot. We've got to get him to stand a little taller and rotate around the lead leg through impact. One of the keys we look at on a good backswing is how far away from our trail ear do we get our hands. And watch this golfer here. Does a great turn to about there, okay to there, then all of a sudden he's going to fold those hands right up to his ears. He's almost got a 90-degree bend in his lead arm, and that's the arm that creates width. At this point now, the hand should be out on that line, not folded way up inside. So we're going to work on that a little bit. Let's watch this downswing. Now he gets his width back pretty good. Now the problem is you got to time that every time the same way. Now he's got some decent leg happening. Now he's losing his leg. See that? At this point now the club is passing the hands already. That tells me that the lead side is decelerating, so the club shaft is trying to flex forward, and it needs to flex backwards, obviously. Then he's going to scoop under the ball. Watch this. See if you can see his left hand underneath the ball, tries to lift it, pulls his hands in real close to his body, gets a high, weak shot, and that's what we got to get rid of. He's been hitting the ball way too high. What we want to do is we want to create a width to his swing so that the swing matches both directions. So there he is on the downswing. He's going to get nice long arms, and he's nowhere near that width on the forward swing. So the circle isn't happening. Here we have a brand new golfer. What we do see is that the hands are a little high. We'd like to get the hands a little closer to the thighs, so they're hanging more down from his chin line a little bit better than that. Let's go ahead and watch the takeaway here. Nice and smooth. It's got a pretty decent takeaway, keeping the club face a little bit shut, but not bad. But what's going to happen is on the way out, he's going to get his left arm way out away from his body. See that? Too far out. But he does turn nicely through it. The reason the club ball's going to the right is because he had that arm too far out. He's going to rotate through, and he's not able to get the club back on the line it was at setup. So we want the club to exit our body on the same line. See, it's on that line and on that line, but now it's straight up and down. So we'll work on that a little bit. Other than that, he's doing pretty good. This golfer came to the clinic looking for a little more distance. Let's just draw in the swing plane there to start with. See how he does on the takeaway. Very nice. Above the swing plane on the way back, but he stays above it. What he did is he needs to get his hands up to his shoulder height if he can. His arms are too low. So it's just raising the hands a little bit so that he can drop that club back down into the slot. And you can see what he's doing here is he's kind of flat-footed. So his entire swing is based on the power that he has from the waist up. We're going to get more distance if we can get him to get the hands a little higher and then rotate the hips through the shot. It's not that difficult. We just got to learn how to turn our right knee to our left knee. At setup, we see a decent spine angle, 35 degrees. That's a pretty good angle right there, but here's what happens on the way back. Watch the head as it rises up above, and now her spine has got no angle at all. Her almost straight up and down. Then she's going to come back down to the shot and turn through it. So all we need to get her to do is to try to keep that spine angle better, because look at the rotation she's getting with the lower body on through the shot. Right knee to the left knee. A little more relaxed here so the club can come to rest on her shoulder. But we got to get rid of this lift right there. The hands are higher than they need to be, so she's standing straight up. We've got to keep that nice angle forward. We have a pretty good setup here. I drew the swing plane in prescribed by the golf shaft, and you're going to watch his swing stays pretty well on that plane, up and down. And notice he drops the club head a little inside the plane on the way down. That's great. The only issue we have here is that there's no movement of the left side, the power side, into the shot. See how the left leg is just kind of stuck there, and he ends up short arming the shot. We're not getting any rotation around the lower body at all. So we've got to do that. We've got to get him driving off that back leg so that he's throwing his belt buckle to the target instead of just his chest going forward to the target. And he's going to make for a much easier transition, and it's going to be easier on his body. If you look now, with that left leg still stuck to the ground, he's putting a lot of torque on his lower back. We've changed this golfer from a two-plane swing to a single-plane swing or a single-axis swing. What we'd like to see his hands is a little higher. What he's going to do is emulate a little bit of Mo Norman. He's going to play the club in the center of his stance, the ball forward. You can see the ball quite a bit forward of the golf club. And this is going to create an inside-out approach to the golf ball. Clearly, if he swung across that golf ball to the inside, he'd miss it completely. So let's watch the takeaway. He's just going to have to fold and unfold his trail arm there. And that's what he does. You can see right there, the arm is folded straight down. His lead elbow is pointing back at the golf ball. And he's just going to drop the club into the slot, swing right on through it, hit it right down the middle. Now, he can move the ball a little closer to him at setup if he wants. But really, this is going to be a pretty good setup for him, and I think it's going to work. He has limited rotational movement during the backswing. Here we see a great setup. The spine tilt is 39 degrees. Anywhere between 30 and 40 is excellent. If I was going to cheat, I'd cheat a little bit towards the 40 side, which she's doing here. She stays pretty much on that swing plane through the whole swing. Look at that. Notice that both elbows are now within that triangle. And that's what we try to do. Keep both elbows together and inside the triangle. Then she's going to drive her right side through really strongly here. See that right side coming through? Powering it through, right on through to a nice finish. The one thing we might work on is posting up the left knee a little bit more at the impact position. Great swing, a lot of athleticism, great strength. We see a pretty good setup here, but once again we have a golfer that's going to stand up on the backswing. Watch this. Up she goes. See how everything's straightening up? She manages to stay on plane or just above it and then reroutes the club. Two things here. We want her to keep her spine angle forward and add a little more hinge to the wrist at the top of the backswing, especially here with the long club. Then she's going to drive back down. Does a great job of driving back down on the plane. Look at that. Great athleticism. Right on through the shot. Turns on through. Club exits the body parallel to the swing plane. All very good. Consistency is going to come from better rhythm and tempo and not standing up. With this golfer, we've been starting the club a little further behind the ball than normal and try to get a nice smooth takeaway. And you can see she's really got a nice takeaway there, except for the fact she lifts her head a little bit right there at the end. But notice that her left forearm is parallel to her shoulder line. That's great. Lost a little flex in the right knee, but not too bad. Her triangle is created by the forearms is still intact, so she's in good shape there. Now let's just watch the downswing. It's going to be nice and smooth, right on through, keeps right on turning, right on through to the shot. Now she's only been golfing a couple of weeks. This is incredible. She's really done a good job. Congratulations.